Welcome for the very first time back to the Ego Strokes podcast. I am your host, Christian Senrud. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me, us, the Royal We, today in my beautiful home studio. To the uninitiated, might refer to it as the car hole, slash home gym, slash motorcycle cemetery. So, welcome. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Welcome to our inaugural episode. Yeah, man. It's ego strokes. I mean, what does the world need more right now than one more straight white guy getting behind a mic, getting behind some cameras, and just talking some shit, for an hour at a time to his tens of listeners. So here we go. It's what we're about. If you don't know anything about me, I can't imagine you would be here already. But a little bit about me: I'm a lifelong skateboarder, writer, and comic for the last 8 or 9 years. So here we are. My take on the world. I'm going to be interviewing friends, colleagues, industry folk, and we'll get a little bit behind the curtain of who I am, who these people are, and just really stroke those egos, guys. Just really make the Buddha sad with how much we just really go in on personalities and successes and the all the tangibles of this waking life. So thanks for being here on the journey. This is the first one. We'll see how she goes. It's a hot fucking 4th of July week here. Gearing up for a big weekend at the bar where I work. Also, I'm a man of many hats, so I also work security, head of security, no big deal. I just happen to be the one that lasts the longest, so next man up mentality, here we go. I am now senior in charge. And, 4th of July, big drinking weekend. We'll see how it goes. Memorial weekend, total shit show. We were understaffed, a lot of fights, a lot of issues, a lot of vomit. So, little preview. That'll be fun. But last weekend, I got to go to X Games up in Ventura County at the Ventura County Fairgrounds, just a stone's throw from the pier. Beautiful. I've never been to Ventura. I have been to Ventura one time. We went camping at the tail end of the pandemic when things were opening back up. We went and camped. There's like a state beach or something down there, and oh my God, if you want to overpay for parking lot camping, that is the place to do it. We had a group site, and what a pile of shit that that campground was. It was literally just gravel. It was fairly close to the beach, but up there, the beach isn't, these pristine Laguna Beach, sandy shorelines. It's a bit more rocky and rugged, not quite Big Sur style, but getting more towards that the farther north you go. Still very beautiful, but the campsite just overpriced and next to a train yard, a little bit of unhoused coming in and out. So nothing. I mean, if you're going camping for adventure, that's what more can you ask for, really? But anyway, this is the first time I've spent any length of time in the city itself. I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed. Beautiful city, a lot of cool architecture, like a lot of old Victorian style architecture, and the city itself seemed very cool. It seemed like a much cleaner, nicer Long Beach. Just maybe if the police actually shoot away the unhoused and into whatever shady corners that they used to do that to. But beautiful city, and there for X Games, which I've been involved in the skate industry since 2008. So 16 years, I've never made it to an X Games. Don't know how that happened. I just working for a multitude of companies, media outlets, never made it to X Games. And truth be told, wasn't a big check mark on my to-do list. You know what I mean? Just for whatever reason, I grew up in the Big Brother era. They from the word go, ESPN's handling of X Games was obviously skateboarding. We have a long, proud history of distrusting outsiders, and I think there was a mentality that ESPN was just coming in for a quick cash grab, and what do you know? 25 years later, they're still at it. Now, does that prove or disprove the original distrust? Let's get into it. Um, I, as I said, I've never been to an X Games before. I've been to a lot of different skate contests. I've been to Maloof Money Cup. I've been to street leagues. I've been to local shit. I've been to Thrasher stuff, and Vans Showdown, Vans Downtown Showdown, all sorts of contests over the years. Never in X Games, and I gotta say, X Games is an entirely different animal altogether. And that's saying a lot because there's so many, and a lot, like, I think Maloof Money Cup kind of changed the game and the format when Rob Dyrdek stepped in. He definitely altered the course of street skating contests. But X Games is like every other contest I've ever been to times about 100, because it does encompass so many other sports, or whatever we want to call them, action sports, paths, whatever. It's insane. It's insane, the just expansive nature of an X Games. Like, it took over that entire city for an entire week and a half, I imagine. Just the amount of signage, and just the pure acreage that it occupied while the contest was going on. Like, the Ventura Fairgrounds, I didn't realize, they're giant. It's got like fucking like airline hangar size buildings, just like a whole block of that. Like, you could film a fucking movie inside of those. And then just the bulldozing for the moto and the BMX courses and the high air contest, and then building a vert ramp up on stilts, and the skate contest, which is still concrete for some reason. It was wild. And just like the parking lot, like the expansive blacktop, just so much room for everything else as well, just like the monster rigs and the concert stage. And it was just it was a festival built, a mini festival built around all these different action sports contests. And it was I guess I'm a little unassuming, so I didn't exactly plan or have a clear idea. I thought it would just be like every other contest where you show up, it's a fucking snafu, getting all your credentials, getting in and out, security, checking your cameras. And it was that, for sure. But also, it was just that and so much more, just so much more. I've never experienced anything like that. And it was I was fully prepared to go in there and poo-poo it the way I do most contests, because I'm Jeff Grosso put it pretty plainly back in the day that modern contests, especially street contests, are essentially a wash, because it's like essentially the 10 top guys every single time. It's just, and that's cool. Like, that's a great way. I'm glad that Braden Hoban can cash a check every stop, and Pedro Barros can make some money, and Arisa Trew is gonna be just cashing checks from here on out. It was wild. But yeah, man, it, like, I was prepared to go poo-poo it, but like this park contest was sick. Although, like, that is just a whole other discipline all to itself. It's Tony Hawk kind of shits on it because it's a lot of, like, vert, because of the nature of the not enclosed, but just the more retained area of a vert ramp, and just the fact that you can build speed so much easier and get setup airs. you get a lot more trick variety. Whereas park, it's a lot of setup tricks that are being weaved into like good vert tricks, but like nothing that are gonna win you a contest on a vert ramp. But park contest was sick. It's people like Alex Sorrente and Grant Taylor showing up and skating padless, and just it's wild. Like they're jumping off and on roofs, shit that I was like, I don't know that that's designed to skate, but it's pretty sick that you're like, yeah, fuck it, that's skateboarding, baby. I was like, can we? Yes. Should we? Probably not. Let's do it anyway. Love that. But yeah, I will say, like the skate contests were about what you expect. The street contests, we need to have a real. I feel like we need to get a real. We need to have a reckoning. We've been doing this street league format contest, and it's cute that you want to like theme it for like California love, summer, whatever. But they're boring. Street skate contests are so fucking boring now, and which is super ironic because it's the courses. It's namely California Skate Parks designing like a plug and play system based on the space I imagine, and I get it that you have parameters that you have to work between, but also we've seen it. It's been done for way too long at this point. It's time to it's time for some what was old will now be new again. Like we're at a point now where the pouring the concrete it's unnecessary. I don't get it. I don't see what it adds to anything. And at this point, if you built one of those like 1990s style European contest courses, it would be way more entertaining. It would be way more visually appealing, and I think it would be just it would draw more viewers in, because it's like how many more A-frame rails do we really need to see somebody like nollie flip back lip, or you know what I mean, like nollie flip crook. It's like it's always impressive, like the level of talent and performance that these guys show up and shell out every single time. It's always impressive, but at this point, it's essentially a park rail it's literally skate park, and like that's fine, but it's boring. Let's be honest, it's fucking boring, and we can do better. And I mean, it shows you. It's also like it's 25 years since Tony Hawk did the 900. The 90s are back. Bring back the 90s contests, I say. Like how many clips are you seeing of them pulling it back from like the late 90s 411 Euro contests, or fucking World War III down at the beach for a Triple Crown? There's a reason that these are being drummed up and people are ogling them and pining over them. It's because it's something we haven't seen in a long time. Like the only other contest that really does something like that is the Simple Sessions in Estonia, because they still do it. They build it out of wood, and but it just doesn't have the coverage or the eyeballs, at least in the U.S., that X Games or Street League or whatever else is gonna have. Olympics, for instance. Also, dude, it's like, to talk Tony Hawk again. He's been really pushing to bring back vert, and in terms of like a contest, vert died. Let's be honest, vert died. Vert was dead. I think even Thrasher had a cover of it. Vert is dead, probably with Navarrete, and it is kind of it is, but it's coming back, and honestly, for a spectator, it is worlds apart in terms of more entertaining for a viewer. Even just as a person who mostly like I can drop in on vert. That's probably it. If I'd be lucky to get a scratch grind, I'd be lucky to get a rock and roll. But as somebody who can't skate it and doesn't really fathom the how people are able to do that, it is so much more entertaining to watch than every single street skating contest, every single street skating best trick contest, aside from like the Thrasher take over a spot style, which those are sick. And kudos to Thrasher for always keeping their thumb on the pulse. They know there's a reason why they're still a quarter-inch thick magazine when everybody else is either dead or dying. So they fucking get it. Props to Burnett and Dylan and Ewan and everybody over there. They're keeping it real. They always do. But aside from those contests, street skate contests are so fucking boring. Whereas vert contests, these park contests, are way more explosive. Like when a vert skater fucking dies, like think about the Jake Brown slam, and that's mega ramp. That's an entirely different animal. But point being, the broader audience, if the guise of this Olympic inclusion is to broaden and build skateboarding and grow skateboarding, I think you're gonna get more eyeballs and more interest in people who watch like the vert or the park skating, because watching the vert skating was, I didn't even really watch the street thing, to be honest. Like I stayed to watch the warm-ups. I saw it on the Jumbotron and I was like, it's all shit we've seen before, to be honest. And nothing against the guys doing it. I'll watch your actual video parts, but street contests, cash your check, but I don't give a flying fuck. But vert, it was sick. And I gotta, again, I'm telling you, the average viewer is gonna enjoy it a lot more because and it'll draw more people in. That's how I got intro to skateboarding. Like my friend up the street started. He had a board. Then we got, we were all passing it around trying to learn how to ollie, learn how to kickflip. Next thing you know, MTV Sports and Music Awards and X Games are on TV, and Tony Hawk does the 900. I'm never going to do a 900, but watching that shit made me fucking pick up magazines at the grocery store and start getting into it and learning, and fucking over 25 years later, here we go, And that could be another kid. That could be a kid all over the world. And that could be especially true for female skateboarding, which was great. Arisa Trew, the X Games they're really harping on this 900 narrative. It's 25 years since the Tony Hawk did the first one. I saw a couple BMXers do them over the weekend. Fucking 900 tail whips and shit. I think 2 people did them in the vert contest. I guess that's just standard protocol somewhat now. Like it's the McTwist of years gone by. But I knew like a handful of people have done them, but I didn't know they were that pervasive already. But guys trying 900s and 720 varials, impossible. Like I don't even know what the fuck the one dude, the Moto, he did it. Like it was awesome. Like that's how, you know what I mean? Like I've have this many years of skateboarding knowledge, and I would have to get a sequence or rewatch it to be able to tell you what that trick was without somebody already narrating it. And I think it was like a 720 like front foot impossible something, and that on a fucking giant vert ramp, again, so much more visually appealing, so much more the replays as well. Like if it's on ESPN, you could be top 10 for Sports Center. You don't fucking know. But and then like the lady skating, which is, calling it even women's skateboarding right now is wild, because I don't think there was anybody on the ramp over the age of like 24 maybe. And like literal like just babies. Like Arisa Trew is the star of the show, and she's 14, already done a 900, already done switch McTwists. She was doing switch tricks in a run on the park, which is fucking crazy. But like the announcers were pushing the 900 narrative so much, and it was really impressive to watch her, because there were other girls on the course, and you could tell that their nerves were a little shaken. They weren't as composed, and she just has ice in her veins. Like she just has that eye of the tiger shit. And for a 14-year-old, it's super impressive because it's like it's those people who have that kind of like focus that are going to be able to push the needle forward. And I don't want to be too jock-ish or athletic in my thinking, but uh, you know, it is skateboarding, and vert historically does have a little bit more of that jock mentality because it is so contest driven. It's you versus them pushing each other, which is good because it does excel progress, and it does push the needle forward. And having somebody, especially somebody so young, to be able to push women's skateboarding, because she does have competition. There are are girls who's showing up and giving her a fucking battle, and that kind of competition is going to keep this exciting and give us just a storyline down the road for the future of women's skateboarding, which has Tony Hawk keeps sorry to keep dropping his name, not that I fucking know the guy. I have a picture with him. It's not a big deal. But he's saying the glass ceiling is shattered now, and for the last 25 years it's been there. And there have been, obviously women's skateboarding has been exploding in the last 5 years especially, and it's great to see. The street skate scene is awesome. The Toy Machine video that just came out had a slew of ladies in there, and it's awesome to see. But like compared, like a 900, it's, you know what I mean, like it's literal history being made in big giant steps. So I think having someone like that, like Arisa Trew, and that if we promoted that vert contest series more, and I think you'd get way more eyes, and that would probably make get way more women on skateboards. Like if they're seeing it more consistently and seeing it at that level, that's inspiring. It's inspiring to me. It makes me want to skate. So I assume this is mansplaining, I apologize, but I assume that a girl in the Midwest or in Britain or wherever, or Australia, or wherever, she sees a girl not much bigger than herself and she's seeing her make history. That's impressive, and it's probably going to get her on a board and make her want to see what she can do out there. And it's not this sounds like a sales pitch where like we're going to move numbers, and it's like that's not really what it's about. It's like, and I think skateboarders will understand this, where it's like when you find something that literally changed my life for the better. I would not be in this beautiful studio in Southern California if it had not been for skateboarding and pursuing my love of it. And I never had the talent to be a pro, but to be able to write for magazines and work for companies and stuff. So it bettered my life. So being able to share that gift or promote that gift and get more people out experiencing it, and having their life hopefully enriched by it, that is the goal. And if it sells more boards or more shoes, all the better. But companies come and go. Skateboarding is forever. You know what I mean, baby? Not forever. It's only been here since the 50s, but I don't know. The Olympics are coming back up. It is July. That means they will be in Paris this month, I believe. And I don't particularly care about that, aside from the exposure that it brings. But the Olympics are such like a washed out, watered down version of what all the good things about skating, that it's like a Fat Records sampler of years gone by. I don't know if anybody's going to get that reference, or not everybody's going to get that reference, I know. But You get a taste. It's like a Green Day on the radio. You're like, this isn't the most punk rock thing I've ever heard, but like it's your gateway drug. It'll get people like, what's this about? Like, you know what I mean? Like, more people are gonna see skateboarding and think to pick up a board and try to be part of it than some sort of sport that takes a $700 buy-in. Or yeah, I don't know. I will say, getting back to the X Games, BMX and motocross. If you ever go to the X Games, holy shit, that is insane. Like the tricks they were doing, not only like the insanity of the tricks themselves, but just the the they were going so fucking big. I watched the BMX best trick contest, and Kevin Perazzo was like flying over this tabletop, uh, and he had to be 15 or 20 feet up while doing like a 900 tail whip. Or I have no real knowledge of BMX whatsoever, but everybody in the best trick were going so fucking tall, like just skyrocketing out of the ramps. And just this one dude was doing a double backflip bar spin or something, and I was like on the deck behind the quarter pipe that he was launching out of, and just like the fucking sound and the explosion that he was making when he would hit the fucking ramp was nuts. The only one that came close to that in skating was Tom Shaw when he was doing these kickflip frontside grabs to fakie, and he would just like his wheels would slam back on the concrete, and you could feel like a little like that lizard part of your brain step in, like it's like when you hear a fucking an engine or like a motorcycle start up or something, and just like that lizard part of your brain just like starts grunting, or like and it's cool. If like it's not the best part of your psyche to really promote or scratch, like an itch you don't want to scratch too much, but like it's in there. Some like it a little more than others. So the testosterone driven, maybe Joe Rogan crowd, they might seek that a little more, the little more grunt. But the skateboarding needs some grunt, because otherwise it's just a little too soft. And we need some soft, but we also need to keep a little ruggedness, I believe. Again, back to X Games. As a I got lucky because I had media passes, which means I got to be on the deck, I got to sneak around, I got to be up in the mix. In most contests I've been to, there's seating, there's an auditorium, there's like bleachers, and everybody gets a view, and like might not get the best view, but you get a view. And I didn't know this about X Games, but it is full-on Disneyland mode. Like, it is, you buy a ticket to get in, and then everything else is a la carte, and that's fucking crazy, because the price of admission wasn't cheap, and then everything else, put it this way, a hamburger there was $25, beers this size were $17 a piece. They didn't have any draft beer because Pacifico was the main sponsor, so I assume they were just offloading a bunch of tall cans from warehouses or whatever. But I would be interested to know like the nuts and bolts of that. I did talk to one of the servers there, and I was just like I was like, I hope you're getting tipped well. Like, does it do the different events affect your tips? Like, do certain events you get more tips and others you don't? Because I've worked country music concerts as a beer or a bartender before, and honestly pretty good. I was in the VIP section, but tips not terrible. People were pretty generous, oddly pro cash, which was odd. Obviously it was a country concert in Orange County, California, so you're going to get a lot of right-leaning people, which is fine. But yeah, oddly anti-card. But anyway, the bartender was saying that car people are the cheapest. So keep that in mind if you're going to be a bartender at an event. That car culture people, not the best tippers. But getting back to X Games, yeah, dude. There was no seating. Like you pay all this money to go watch these contests, and you're literally ground level, like at a Warp Tour or at a fucking festival or something. You're literally ground level, and not only that, you're ground level, and there were multi layers of barriers in between you and the actual courses. So like I if I had paid money to get in there and then I'm just like staring at the back of some fucking dickhead's head to watch like skateboarding from afar, I would be so pissed. And a lot of most I was watching people watch it on the jumbotron. It's like if you paid money to go see a contest and then you have to watch it on the jumbotron, it's insane. And it doesn't seem like a solvent business model either. It's just like for the amount of effort and money it took to get there and in and involved, if it just to have that another fucking thing in the way to be distanced like that, it was very surprising to me. Even in the industry people, like I had media pass, so I was able to get it, right up in the mix. But like people that are way above me at my job, they were stuck in these shithole. Like they watched on the jumbotron. You know what I mean? I will give it up to a friend. I won't say who did this or how he did it, because I actually don't know exactly the nuts and bolts of how he produced it. But first day he came and he had just general pass, couldn't really get in anywhere. He got frustrated, and he made a fake media pass for the second day, and that was kudos, hats off. That fucking rules. Because he went from like having all these barriers and being spaced out to literally being on the deck with me and hanging out and pretty much getting in anywhere else he wanted to go. So for as corporate and tied up and how much security X Games had, he was able to get just as far as I was able to, and I had legitimate passes from legitimate vendors and sources. So that's skateboarding. I love that. We never stop hopping fences. You know what I mean? And who was hurt? I mean, if everybody does it, obviously that's a problem. But it's not everybody that's able to figure out how to print their own media pass and sneak through security with and bring all of his camera equipment. That's I love it. It's no harm, no foul. Just good old fashioned fun. We doing all right out there? We doing okay? Oh goodness, it is the height of summer in Southern California, and I am going. I don't. My friends from here, especially, I always around May or June, they start complaining because we get June gloom. We get a little overcast. It's in the 70s. It's a little chilly, they call it. And then they start bitch, I want it to be hot. I want to be able to jump in the ocean. It's like, you can jump in the ocean any time of the year. You're not hanging out in there. But honestly, how much time are you really spending in the ocean even when it's 80 degrees out? And they always complain. They're like, I just want it to be really hot so I can really go to the beach and this and that. And I'm like, you guys are fucking crazy. That like and Southern Californians are so fucking spoiled, especially with weather, that just you can tell how long somebody's been here by how quickly it takes for them to complain about the weather. Like if it rains 2 days, they're like, oh, is it ever gonna be sunny again? And they complain. And then if it's 70 degrees out and overcast, it's like, when will the sun be out? It's just like, our weather 98% of the year is better than almost everywhere on the face of the fucking planet, and you're still bitching. And here we are, and it's fucking hot, dry. It's fucking aquarium, like lizard. It's reptile house weather. It sucks. and then the sand at the beach is fucking scorching hot. If you don't have fucking flip-flops on or some goddamn thing, you're gonna just burn the soles of your shoes. And I gotta be honest, I've been trying to like better my attitude about this. And like I don't mind the beach. I get it. We go there, we hang out, you take a nap, you have a drink, you have some snacks, and you jump in the water, and that's it. But as a whole day activity, unless you're like having a lot of people or you lugging coolers out, or have like other activities planned, volleyball, frisbee, whatever, nude sandcastle building, as a day activity, the beach is just, it's not it for me, man. Like I I don't know. I kind of use it like on these, you always see these dating app props and are you a beach person or a mountain person? Like mountains. 100% mountains all day fucking long. You're not around a shitload of people. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass to get to, but the payoff is absolutely worth it. You're got serenity, nature, fucking quiet lake, mountains, streams, fresh water. It's fucking great. The beach, man, like like I don't pity anyone more on this planet than a fucking dad who's loaded down like a fucking pack mule, just loading up a wagon to head down to the beach for a day. Like that looks so fucking miserable to me, and it is a prison of your own making. So that's on you guys. But like when I see that shit, when you're loading out of a minivan and just fucking a collapsible wagon is just getting loaded up with coolers and fucking water wings and pool noodles and every goddamn thing else that you're probably going to forget down in the beach and just going to be part of the trash pile that's floating out. That looks terrible. And like, to make it your whole personality is like, just nothing beats a day at the beach. I'm like, I can name you 1,000 things that are better than a day at the beach. Especially, maybe if I lived in Laguna where it's beautiful and, they have these insane tide pools. And one of the last times I went to Laguna Beach, we did see a nude photo shoot. So that, that'll change my temperature a little bit. I don't know if there are more, models having photo shoots down there. Maybe that would change my tune a bit. But around Long Beach, it's mainly dodging syringes and shit piles. So I don't love it. Even at the Horny Corner, which I would love to know how it got that fucking name. But like, it's been that name for a long time because my parents lived here in the 70s, and they still know Horny Corner. So it's been that name for a while. And I have some theories. I could assume why it would be called that. If for those who don't know, Horny Corner is a bay, an inland bay that comes in from the sea. It's the cleanest, nicest part of our ocean because it doesn't get all the trash swirl that we get from LA County and from the rest of our coastline. So it's a little more inland. The trash has to work harder to get to it, So, and it is nicer. You're not getting all the waves. You can just, it's good for families. You pop down in there. So I assume Horny Corner, all the ladies that don't want to be battened down by crushing waves, they just show up there and look beautiful. And, like the rodents in the rural areas, they just bring the snakes in. All the beautiful women. And then here come all the predators to swoop in and enjoy the view and maybe chat them up and try to make a new friend. But that's my rant about the beach. It's 4th of July. I'll be down there. Like I like jumping in the water. I think it's also just my anxiety or ADHD where it's just like I can't sit still. So if I don't have something to fucking do, I get angsty, and if I can't bring my dogs down there, like my one, the new guy, he can't go to the dog beach because maybe that's the way to do it is just aversion therapy, but like he freaks out around other dogs that aren't Echo or so. I know I can't take them down there. If I could, maybe again, maybe that would change my tune. But regardless, it's fucking. Oh, this is just old man ranting bullshit. But hey, that's what this is gonna be. A lot of bit of skateboarding, some rants, some raves. We'll plug. We got quick plug. Um, July 15th at Bamboo Club in Long Beach on Anaheim, we have Tori Piskin headlining our Tiki Haha comedy night. It's going to be a good time. We got a whole slew of comics coming around down from LA, up from Orange County, in from locally around Long Beach. We've been doing this coming up on 2 years. It's a great time. No drink minimum. It's just the price of admission. You're in, you're done with whatever you want or don't want. You're in, you're good. Do that. We got a storyteller coming up on... maybe did I fuck this up? July 11th, we have a storyteller show at the Exhibition Room in Long Beach inside Roxanne's. It's a speakeasy. It's a good show. It's fun. It's a good time. If you have stories you want to tell, come tell them. We're going to have some featured comics coming up and sharing some horror stories. I believe the theme is freedom this July. Makes sense. Got 7-Eleven. Maybe convenience. We'll figure it out. But it's a really cool venue. It's a really cool room. We get really good comics. We've had SNL writers in. We've had comics that have appeared on Comedy Central, HBO. It's going to be a good time. That's free at the Exhibition Room on the 11th. The 18th, we're back at Tiki Haha at Bamboo Club. We got Tori Piskin headlining. She's coming down from LA. Great comic, hilarious, and a whole lineup of comics coming in from Orange County, down from LA, and joining us locally from Long Beach. It's a great monthly show. We've been doing that for about 2 years and love doing it. And then we'll be back at Good Bar on the last Thursday of the month. I will also be in Hollywood on the 19th at the Hollywood Comedy. If you want to come out, just check that out. Got a great lineup of comics coming out from my boy who's producing it, Daniel Farias. Those luscious locks, those conspiracy theories, those Epstein takes. You give him a follow if you want any of that. They're good. They're fun. He blew up on TikTok like crazy from that shit, and kudos to that. That's fun. Oh man, it is weird to be able to say that. I've been involved in the skate industry for 16 years. I've been skateboarding for over 30 now, and that's wild. Because to be able to say you've been doing anything for a decade, 20 years, 30 years, and just be like, fuck, I'm getting old. And I've realized in the last 2 years, because you're in your 20s. 25 sounds old when you turn 25 for some reason. Then 30 is the next big one, and then after that, you're just like, that's not that old. It's, especially in California, in the Neverland that is Southern California, you don't really have an awareness of how old you are unless your body is just constantly reminding you, which it is, but you can kind of forget. Because if you've skirted marriage or skirting as if it's really trying to pursue you or me, but if you've avoided or haven't found marriage, kids, you're able to avoid the pitfalls of traditional aging or landmarks of showing that you've aged. But I watched City Slickers not too long ago. Great movie, obviously, but I realized I'm older than Billy Crystal's character, Mitch, who is having his midlife crisis at 30 whatever, and I'm like, man, you're not planning on living that long, are you? But I I realized oh shit, I am that old. And then I realized oh yeah, I've already had my midlife crisis. I just don't have the budget to do some big cattle drive in fucking the Southwest. I just adopted a free dog that I really had no business in getting. I've had a dog, I've had Echo for fucking 9 years, coming on 10, and which was a bit of a, that was you know, I was misled because she's great, but I've also had her since she was a puppy, and I've trained her since she was a puppy, and she's older, so she's slowed down, and you know, you're getting close, you're creeping up on your 40s, and maybe it was definitely not conscious, but you're not like, all right, getting about that time where I need to start thinking about buying a Corvette or a Harley or get a 19-year-old girlfriend, you know. Instead, you know, that anxiety or worry or whatever, maybe it just bubbles up under the surface a little bit, and next thing you know, you're at the Long Beach Animal Shelter checking out a really adorable cattle dog, and then you black out and you bring him home, and 2 years later he's still not he's still very reactive with other dogs. But you know, it's a more affordable midlife crisis. It's not cheap. I've heard of there being very expensive free dogs, and he was no different because he was free to adopt. But with that free adoption, he came with kennel cough. Uh, he got a tapeworm. He got multiple tapeworms because, speaking of anxiety, this motherfucker just like will chomp on shit as soon as he sees it. And at my old apartment, we had just a outbreak of feral cats, and boy, did they like to shit around the property. What a joy that was. But yeah, and he chomped on their dookie, and the next thing you know, boy's got a lively turd. So yeah, he also has he's gotten into medicine. I've had to have his stomach pumped a couple times. So yeah, a free dog, but we're probably up. He's probably cost me around 10 grand by this point. So, you know, consider, you know, obviously when you're adopting an animal, you should do the due diligence and really weigh it out. But also, just do it. Who cares? Life's short. Fucking get the second dog. Who cares if he can't be around other animals and every walk is a potential issue? If you can never just have your guard down. Like, it's good to have your guard up. I do need to learn to have my guard up a little more because, like I said, I head of security at a bar, and you know, sometimes you just assume people are normal and they're not just gonna do wild shit, but a lot of people are. A lot of people are. They're not up. I'm not saying they're not up to no good, but some people are up to some no good. You know what I mean? So, and you know, having your guard up will at least give you a little defensive advantage. Because 2 weeks ago now, I guess, I had a guy throw a drink in my face from pretty much like from here to here, and I thought it was just a little solo, like a plastic, you know, disposable cup, but it cut my eye up pretty good, and I was pretty impressed. It was also so stupid, like, cause in a year and a half of working at a bar, you know, you learn a lot of things, you see a lot of things, and it is part of the reason why I'm still there, I think, because it is just so, as a from a sociologist's point of view or an anthropologist's point of view, it's very interesting every single night. There's just a lot of, you know, a lot of things going on: drugs, fights, sex, sexual tensions, a lot of emotional interplay, relationships, friendships. Like, the amount of people who fight their own friends at bars is very surprising to me. I'm like, I've never had that kind of friendship where we get drunk and we just beat each other up. But you know, maybe I'm not that close with my friends. Maybe that's a level of intimacy that I'm gonna have to delve into the more that Ego Strokes goes on. But you know, if you can't fight your friends, who can you fight? But no, it is crazy because like the guy with the drink, that was annoying. It was over. I wouldn't let his friend had an expired ID. He the friend wanted me to overlook it, and just the way, sometimes you use your discretion and you might, hey, you're obviously of age, blah blah blah. Your friends aren't using your ID. Okay, it's fine for tonight. Sometimes you never know. You got a nice door guy, you got a dickhead door guy. I was a dickhead that night. I didn't, for whatever reason, I was like, I don't this, trust your instincts. It's always the people that oh, by the way, it's always the people that you let shit slide with who it's a give them out. If you give a mouse a cookie, as soon as you give them one favor, they like something clicks on mentally, and they're like, well, I can, if they did this, I can do this. If this rule doesn't count, then this rule doesn't count. And if you're ever in security, which I highly encourage you to do, people always say that you should spend a year in retail or working food service. Go work security. You'll have a newfound take on the human experience, I think. But regardless, yeah, he got real mad that I kicked his buddy out because I told him he could go check with our sister bar's bartender, and if he said it was fine, it was fine. But he did not go. He pretended to go, and then was back in my bar without ever speaking to that bartender. So I kicked him out, and his buddy got real pissed, threw a drink in my face, and I'm not proud of it. But bar policy is we call the cops. We got fucking idiot got arrested for throwing a drink and got an assault charge for throwing a fucking drink. And it's also one of those things where you're like, I probably should have been more mad than I really was, because like I know people, that's so fucking disrespectful. But not the first time that's happened to me before. Not that wasn't even, and the first time wasn't even at the bar. That's a different story altogether. But not the first time somebody's thrown shit in my face, and I'm just like, my response is really, which is, it's good for de-escalation tactics, but in terms of like self-esteem or self-respect, not the best. When you just take shit, doesn't make you feel good. It's smarter. It's less paperwork, but long story short, he got arrested in an assault charge, and now he's got to deal with a bunch of that bullshit with lawyers and cops and legal fees, and he might have spent a night in jail for all I fucking know. It's not what I want. I'm not proud of it, but also like, fuck you. If you're gonna be a fucking asshole like that, just go to a different bar. That's that simple. That's all it would have taken. Like, finish your drink, go to a different bar. You probably get in there. Like, or, call it a night. Be nice. Be like, hey man, I understand. We'll come back another time. That's all it would have taken. No, you're not in jail. But that's not what happened. And boy, I can't wait for 4th of July weekend. It is the 3rd, and we are manned up for tonight. I don't mean to be gender inclusive or exclusive with that language, but all of our door people are doormen, and it's gonna be interesting. So I got that. I don't know, man. I feel like every bar has its own like kind of ecosystem in terms of like regulars and the history and the ownership and the management and the employees. It's kind of, I don't know, like we always talk about making it into a pilot or a movie, something along the lines of Waiting, or It's Always Sunny. But It's Always Sunny is so much, it's not really, it is about people in a bar, but it's not, the bar isn't the main vehicle the way that, like, I assume Cheers was. I've only watched a handful of Cheers episodes, but, in terms of a workplace comedy, there's a lot of material, and, I don't want to share too much. I don't want to out too many people with these types of things, but anyway, that's about it for me and my ranting. I'm going to have guests on. I got comics lined up, local, try to get some bigger names, and I'll try to build this studio up so it's not so manifesto-y or bunkery. Or maybe I'll just double down and make it real bunkery. Maybe we'll start having a list of people with names crossed out, a la Steve Buscemi and Billy Madison. But yeah, man. I don't know. What else? What else we got? Oh, I will. I don't. I doubt most people know. I mean, they probably realized it when they go to a bar and there's just always like a constant influx of new security guards or doormen or whatever you want to call it. But what a fucking revolving door. Not revolving door, just what a fucking what turnover. What a turnover rate that we have there. I mean, since I started, there's only 2 doormen that are still at the bar that on my side that are still there. Um, and everybody else has either been fired or quit. Which, in a year and a half, you'd assume there'd be more than 3 people left. And one of them isn't even there anymore. I mean, he's there, but he got tapped to be a bartender where he can make real money. All right, well, we talked some X Games. We talked bar stuff. We talked the beach. We talked mountains. Forget what else. We'll keep it going. Yeah, we're already halfway done with the year. This was my goal for the year, is to launch this podcast, which was supposed to happen back in January, but ADD and a weird, terrible schedule, you can really put things off for just pretty much forever. So better late than never. Here we go. But yeah, 2024, pretty interesting year so far personally. And just, it's an election year, so it's only going to get more bizarre. Thankfully, thanks to the circus of our democracy that we've just accepted that is status quo these days. We just had the first debate. I'm not a political, I'm not political. I just don't want to talk about it anymore. After 4 years of Trump and fucking 4 years of Biden, it's just everybody has a hot take about everything. Everybody has a comment. Everybody has an opinion, and it's at this point, it's just comics love to, bring it up, and people, when Trump was in office, it was like, well, don't you love having him in office? Because so much material. What an easy target. And you're like, my thing's always been, hey, what doesn't make for a better comic? An easy target. If it's easy to make fun of and talk about, then it's called low-hanging fruit and probably hack. I personally, also, it's just so, at this point, I think everybody's so worn down by hearing about it and just the battles with your uncle on social media or your aunt on fucking Facebook or whatever. It's just it's too much, and I miss the silent majority. Does anybody else miss the silent majority? Remember when they were just quietly conservative and just liberals were the only people really fucking making a ruckus? Now it's just this choir of chaotic noise with everybody yelling back and forth and nobody being able to have a dialogue or go back and forth or concede a point or adapt their point of view or learn or it's just so it's become such a it's been you are part of your party and you can't just, it's so tribal. It's just so dumb. It really it's just I'm this way and that's that and I don't move. I only believe this and this person's evil and blah 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 blah. If you think this, then this. And it's there's so much more nuance to all of it. And if you ask questions and if you start to see why somebody prefers one candidate over another, and let's be honest, I lean definitely one way more than the other. But also you talk to people and you see where they're coming from and where they're who they value in their own life and how who's in charge affects their life and their livelihood and their ability to survive and thrive. you get a little bit of understanding why you're able to overlook so much. And this goes for both people, or both, because that's what we've been devolved into. We've just been whittled down to only two fucking lesser of two evil choices every 4 fucking years. But, you know, you get a little bit more understanding when you start asking questions and trying to see where people are coming from. And then some people are just fucking dumb. Some people are just stupid. Like, they're just like, I just vote this way, and anybody that doesn't is a fucking idiot, and blah, 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 blah. And you're like, well, this was a great conversation. Can't wait. This is why this is such a thriving democracy, by the way, because of this stirring dialogue that we're able to have. So cool. Glad that you're keeping the system in place. You're not at all part of the fucking machine that you claim to hate. Good job working that angle. Hey, hey, hey. God damn. All right, well, that's about an hour. Hey, subscribe to the Patreon. You'll get early access. I'll give you some extra shit. Big shout out to the few people who are already subscribed. I'm gonna get you some bonus goodies as a thank you and an apology for not delivering more already. But overpromise, underdeliver. That's the white man way, and that's I'm just keeping the tradition alive, man. We got anything else? I don't know. Gonna do a garage sale. This is stirring. This is just fucking electric content that you're getting access to. Cause I'm speaking of middle age and midlife crisis. You hit a certain age, you're like, am I just gonna fucking burn it all and just walk away? Like, like I have so much shit. Like I've been out in California for 16 years, and all the stuff I've accumulated from working at skateboarding magazine and at shoe companies and just being a hoarder to begin with. And I've tried to delve into this before, where it's just like, why am I such a collector? Why do I have to have, like, why is seeing it not enough? Why do I have to have a copy, or why do I have to have the physical thing? Records and skateboards and comic books and shirts and whatever the fuck else that, like, once it's gone, it doesn't affect me. I've very rarely ever been like given away or sold a shirt or something and been like, man, my life is incomplete without that, but I hold on to all this shit, and then like every time I move, I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? So I'm gonna do a garage sale, try to purge a lot of this stuff. And I think it comes from moving around so much as a kid. I think if you move around a lot and then you're being uprooted all the time, then all you really have are your things aside from your family. So like, but as a kid, you love your family, but you're not like, I don't know. It's not, you want something familiar. So it's just, it ends up being toys or baseball cards or whatever the fuck. And, it also, when you're alone in between school years in the summertime, reading the back of baseball cards will kill a lot of time, and give you something to talk about when the school year starts up. When you just show up and people just assume you're autistic or something because all you can recite are comic book trivia notes or baseball card stats. But yeah, man, gonna offload a bunch of shit. I want to get rid of fucking everything. Like, instead of a garage sale, I'd love to just, if I just had somebody come to my house and have an estate sale. Like, I just take a fucking duffel bag and be like, I'm keeping these things, everything else, whatever you can sell. And just don't even tell me what you sold. Just just get rid of it and give me a wad of cash at the end, and we'll call it a day. I'll figure out what's gone later, and I'll be like, oh, okay, I wonder how much you got for that. Because I think that's a big part of it too, why I don't get rid of everything, is because you have an amount attached to a lot of things, especially if you're a collector, or if you bought into the fact that, or the idea that something you bought as a kid will appreciate in value, which some does. Like Bitcoin. If you bought Bitcoin as a child, you're probably doing pretty good now. But otherwise, if you bought fucking Topps baseball cards in 1988, chances are, unless it's a misprint, that's just pretty fucking worthless pieces of paper, to be honest. That's just heavy shit taking up a pretty good amount of space that could be, you know, a good dog hair collection area instead. But, you know, so garage sale, that'll be the weekend. Tomorrow's the 4th, 5th, 6th. That'll be 13th, weekend of the 13th. If you're in Long Beach, come on through, baby. I'm going to be selling the bicycle. Somebody stole my bike out of my garage. I was painting in my garage. I'm an artist. I don't know if you know this. I'm very spiritual. I'm creative. I'm an influencer. But I was painting in my garage, and I swore I fucking closed the garage. And maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Maybe something got in the way and the door popped back open. I came back a while later to see if the painting had dried. Garage open, my bicycle gone. My bicycle was gone, but somebody had ridden up on a different bicycle and took mine and then ran off on mine, but they left theirs. So I'll be selling that bicycle. Can own a piece of history. It even has a fucking lock on it. And I'm pretty sure I know who this person was because I caught them on my bike later that day, actually. I saw them riding my bicycle around nearby in the neighborhood. I'm like, well, I'm not letting this one go. So I chased her down, and I lifted the back of the bike up so she couldn't pedal away. She was pretty light. Drugs have that effect, I guess. I don't know. That's an assumption. But yeah, long story short, she claimed she bought it off somebody else. It's probably bullshit. I paid $30 to get my bike back without issue, so we just called it even. Pretty sure she was the one who stole it, but at that point I did not have a camera on my garage. I have one now. Thank you, Nikki. And so regardless, I'm going to be trying to get my $30 back for that bike. I got my bike back, so happy endings there. So all right, guys, that's it. We're gonna have some great guests. It's gonna be this. You're getting in on the ground floor. You're gonna see where we go from here. We're starting in the car hole. We're gonna build it up. The lighting, the production, the effects. They're only gonna get better from here. Thanks for being here at the very beginning. Thanks for listening. If you made it the whole way through, you can check me out all month long in Long Beach. Every month, actually. Second, third, and last Thursday of every month. Second is Exhibition Room. Third, Bamboo Club. Last Thursday, we're at Good Bar. And I'm trying to build all those rooms up. Bamboo Club is going strong. Thank you for everybody who's ever come out to that. We do have t-shirts if you're interested in that. Got Bamboo Club Tiki Haha shirts. Great artwork from Jeff McMillan. And the quicker we sell through those, the more merch I'll be able to build make. More merch we'll be able to make. I always say we, because that's a big thing on Ego Strokes. It's not just about I, it's about us. It's all of us. But no, me. Me. Anyway, got t-shirts for sale. That's about it. And yeah, man. Have a guest on the next one. Or maybe not. We'll see. And we'll check